It's time for a clapback. Yeah, to keep very much a stack, I feel like it's time. To be honest, I feel like we'd be doing these sort of clapback videos like later and later, even though I know I did one with Siren Kagura not too long ago. But ultimately, it feels like it'd just be like so late, or like I haven't done one in 5 million years when I know I've done one. But when it comes down to it though, today is a special one because we're going to be basically looking at every single one from Yu-Gi-Oh! Basically taking the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series from original Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters to GX to 5Ds to Zexal to Arc V and to a slight bit extent of Vrains. And we're basically going to be looking at these hoes and seeing who is actually good. And not in terms of like who actually could duel some nice battles and who actually is having a pretty good deck, because let's just be honest, Taya slaps everybody out the water considering that she has a 100% win-loss record. But when it comes down to it though, we talking about who is some fine baddies in those shows. And that's essentially what we're trying to get at with this. Now, to keep it very much a say, no, I will not be covering all the monster cards when it comes down to it, or really any monster card at all. There is 2 exceptions to this rule, but I am not covering basically anybody else outside of those 2 exceptions. And the second thing I need to really add is that yes, I am fully aware that there is shows past Vrains like Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s and Go Rush. I don't know shit about those shows. I don't know anything about Vrains entirely. Same thing with Arc V, I don't know shit about that as well, but I know at least a little bit. And at the very same time, you can even go as far as to say something about Zexal, because it's been so long since I've seen it, and I don't really remember all the things that every character has done in that show either. But when it comes down to it, I am willing to go to Vrains solely because of character design. Because if we gotta talk about any of these anime that exist out there that absolutely slaps it out the park when it comes down to character designs, Yu-Gi-Oh! Typically do so. Not really in these recent shows, I don't know what they've been cooking, but ultimately, when it comes down to things of the past of Yu-Gi-Oh! Of what I know, character designs slap so much. So when it comes down to it, that's kind of what we're really leaning into here. You know, it kind of adds in with the whole, oh, that character's like a bad bitch, I can't wait to kind of slap that character on the ass, or have that sort of feeling when it comes down to it. We ain't talking about character designs at all. But those are the rules for this one, so like the video, share it, subscribe, hype the video, help me out with the GoFundMe so we can save our own house. And when it comes down to it, let's start off with easily, I think, you know, for sure, the one that everybody would probably pick as the main pick would be like Taya, right? Like obviously she's been there a lot, she has different variations of herself, which feels like she get more bustier the more she gets like more added layers of her own character, right? It feels like the most natural pick in the damn world. I know there's a lot of people that also like My Valentine as well. I'll be real, kinda didn't care for her like at all. Like the manga come through and yeah, she's a lot more sexier than what she was in the dub, obviously, and yes, obviously mostly I'll be focusing on dub versions of these characters because I didn't see the sub version, I'll be honest, and I have no intention of going to see the sub version outside of YouTube clips. But when it comes down to it though, I really didn't care for Mai overall. She's okay, right? The most notable thing is Harpy Ladies, but again, we're not talking about the monsters here, we're just talking about the character itself. And she falls in that category of what I said some time ago, of just being sexy and just a little overly too sexy when it comes down to it. I would choose someone way faster of Taya than I would choose someone of Mai's caliber, because Taya feels a bit more on the cuter side of things, while, you know, Mai is more so on the sexier side of things. And I like cuteness and prefer that way more over than, you know, the actual sex appeal when it comes down to Mai as a whole. And the only other character I can really think of in the original Yu-Gi-Oh! That's worth a damn of time, and granted you have Rebecca too, but I don't really remember too much about her, but that would be Ishizu. Literally some of the most finest art that you could possibly find outside of Taya when it comes down to it, because it's a dark-skinned woman, she's Egyptian, she can have all the crazy Egyptian piercings all over her body, or at least in some very two specific areas on her chest. You know, it's a great time. Ishizu was honestly really dang, you know, fine. There's nothing really negative you could say. You don't want that Egyptian cake? I would eat that Egyptian cake all damn day. That's just how it is. And to keep it very much stacked as a character, while she didn't do much after, you know, the Battle City arc, to keep it very much a stack, I did like the fact that, you know, she tried. I did like the fact that she really tried to hoe Kaiba in his own ass tournament, which was funny because that's the DVD set that I actually had as a kid, where we basically had, you know, the end of the duel of Ashiza and Kaiba and giving the backstory America and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, there was that. But ultimately, Ashiza's just bad. Like, I don't see how anybody can sit here and say they wouldn't want to clap Ashiza. I'm shoving 5 cards up your ass and then calling it my mystical pot of greed, where I can shove 5 cards in and get 5 cards back. That just feels like how it is when it comes down to it. But let's move on to GX now. Oh my gosh, there was barely any women in this damn show, high-key. There was barely anybody in the show worth a damn to talk about, besides really Alexis and Blair, and barely anyone talks about Blair if we're going to keep it very much a stat, which is a bit of a sad time, but she didn't really do much. But, you know, that's just how it is. Now, obviously, for a lot of people, Alexis would be like their favorite character when it comes down to the female variety, and to keep it very much a stat, like, I see why. She does duel. She is like, what, the queen of Obelisk Blue, and I see it. I very much do. She's big and busty just like Taya is, probably even more so. And to keep it very much a say, I get the appeal. Hell, when I first watched GX way back in the day when I was a kid, yeah, I was for that Alexa booty as well. Like, we was all for it when it comes down to it, right? There is no reason why you wouldn't want Alexis Rhodes riding your whole ass dick and using that last name for a good ass reason. Like, I very much understand the whole deal here. But this is when you also start to recognize that Yu-Gi-Oh! Goes into that little hole of just straight up like, yeah, we have all these female characters, but then we don't use them for shit afterwards. And, you know, that's just kind of how it is. And honestly, just like tons of videos about that sort of subject in particular, and I don't really need to go in that sort of rabbit hole. But ultimately, does that ruin a character for me? Or at least in Yu-Gi-Oh! Sort of sense? No, not really. But ultimately, it does make you feel like, damn, they should do a lot more. They should have done a lot more. The fact that she came in Art 5 and actually existed was crazy when I found out the first time. Cause I was like, what? She came back? How? That's never happened. And then ended up finding out that she kind of got hoed in Art 5, which was... but I digress. Alexis is about literally the baddest one at her own friend group. Let's just keep it very much a sec, which surprisingly I remember the damn friend group, which, did they even have names? I don't even remember if they had names or not, right? Did they had names? One bitch looked like that one track racer chick from Madaka Box, and the other one, I don't even know, looks like this dude's cousin. That's literally how it is. So ultimately, I don't remember anything from, you know, that friend group, if they had names or whatever. I know there was like a teacher in GX, but I didn't really care. Her design is kind of mess to me, so it is what it is. And again, the only character that I think was worth a damn was, you know, Blair, outside of like Alexis, so that's really about it. But in terms of like regular characters, that's really where it is for that. But then you have two characters that kind of did some wild and shit in here that are on the monster variety that I will make an exception for, which is Yubel and obviously Dark Magician Girl herself, which she kind of already did stuff in like the first version of Yu-Gi-Oh! But, you know, that's like, I want to say that's like two different Dark Magician Girls, because you gotta remember with, you know, especially with Death Battle kind of explaining shit with the Ba and Ka energy and whatever, wouldn't that technically mean the Dark Magician Girl of that time period kind of just went back with the Pharaoh, while obviously this Dark Magician Girl just like around for some reason, right? I feel like that's what we basically have here, which I forgot. Oh yeah, I forgot Mana kind of existed back then. She was all up on Pharaoh's meat. But anyway, essentially, I forgot that was a nice piece of dark chocolate that I forgot about. But essentially though, yeah, when it comes down to Dark Magician Girl, she is obviously like the poster girl for a lot of the monster cards that exist out there. Like, if you're thinking monster cards and you're thinking of the fine ones, she's basically the front and center person you're thinking of, right? Maybe Harpy Lady, but that's literally about it. But when it comes down to it though, she's just bad. She's just bad as well. Like, there's nothing really negative to be said about Dark Magician Girl, because she's worth it. She is definitely for it. You know, she used that staff for a lot of different things, right? We obviously know. So just really not too much to say about Dark Magician Girl, because she kind of just does whatever the hell she wants. And then there's like multiple variations of her obviously my personal favorite of one outside of Dark Magician Girl is easily Gaga Magician Girl, cause yeah, like granted, I know she's basically on some mall girl type beat, but also at the same time would not necessarily mind sliding into some Gaga cheeks. That is just how it is from me. I know there's other variations as well from the movies, but honestly, that is the one from me outside of obviously the basic, more so regular version of Dark Magician Girl when it comes down to it. So it's just she's just a slapper time, and then Bell, which. Damn, this is Yandere the card. This is basically Yandere the damn card when it comes down to it. I remember seeing Bell as a kid and I was like, what the hell am I even looking at? What even is this? Why? Who thought this was a good idea? Right? And ultimately, that's just how I was. I thought her design was legit like weird and creepy and kind of just like, what are we even doing with this? But as time goes on, this is literally like, again, yandere the card. So y'all know how I feel about yandere women. Ultimately, they're crazy, but also at the same time, they very much could give you the right type of attention. So I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, I feel the same way about how I used to feel about Bell. So honestly, slide me that card, Jaden. You good. You in the stars. You good now. Let me go ahead and take this card real quick, and I'll just use it for my own purposes. But on to 5Ds, and oh boy, I feel like we already hitting the pinnacle of fine ass top tier Yu-Gi-Oh waifu when it comes down to it, and that's easily Akiza. Like, if I'm gonna be absolutely honest with you, in terms of an actual character that can not only duel, but also at the same time was really cool at one point and look bad as hell, Akiza has to be there. I feel like Akiza would take that top slot when it comes down to it. Like, if anybody said, oh, Akiza's my favorite one, I'm not mad at you, because Akiza for a long time was also my favorite one when it comes down to it, because she's about bad as hell. I used to have wet dreams about Akiza, high-key, about her chasing me down and trying to take my whole meat in some shape and form, and I thought she was dead-ass crazy, and it was a terrifying time. I'm like, why does Akiza want my meat? But when it comes down to it, though, that's just how she was. That's just, or at least in my brain, that's how she was. When it comes down to the actual story, she was a part of some, you know, weird cultish sort of group in the beginning, and then ultimately she broke out of that shit and used her powers to, you know, break free, understand that she's kind of, you know, a bit special when it comes down to actually summoning dual monsters to hurt the shit out of people. So there was that as well, and ultimately she ended up falling into that category of, again, characters that are super good but they end up getting hoed by terrible writing, where they just basically forgot about her or just didn't really do too much with her and all that sort of stuff, and it really sucks. Because how do you go to a character design, say, oh, this is worth forgetting, when it's really damn good? I don't understand why they said, yeah, let's just forget Akiza even existed, when she's bad as hell. She's right effing there, dude. What are we doing? Akiza is worth it on 5 million different levels as to, you know, why you should definitely basically be the damn dual runner and just let her ride you as a dual runner. I do not understand. And then let's not forget about Luna, right? Luna is definitely somebody that is not overly, like, I guess people care too much about, but I'm not gonna forget about Luna because she was also worth the cheek clapping as well. I do not see how people can say you wouldn't want to clap Luna at all, unless you just one of those people, the normies, the weak ass normies that can't handle anything. But ultimately, Luna wasn't necessarily all that bad too. There's not really much to say about Luna on this case as well, but I did remember her and I was like, oh yeah, she was like one of the other characters that I would have preferred here as well. But I could easily, in this case, this is probably one of those rare cases where I'm like, you know what, I don't need the lolly in this case, give me the big titty woman, give me that shit immediately, because that's essentially how I feel. And obviously that's not the only ones that exist within 5Ds. You had like Carly, I want to say that's her name, the one with the crazy glasses, and I think tripped out and tweaked out at one point in time in the show. But Carly was not necessarily all that damn bad. She wanted Jack's meat, and yeah, if you had a cool ass dual runner like that too, I pretty much would be feeling the same damn way. Then at the same time, you had this one executive looking chick. I don't know if she had a name. I'm pretty sure she did, but also at the same time, I don't really remember if there was any other character. I think there was one more that was like from from Signal, or like, what's that the name of the city? Or like outside the city. I can't. It's been since 4Kids literally took it off the air. It's been that long since I watched 5Ds. I'm not joking. It has literally been that dang long since I've seen anything of 5Ds in years. Now on to the final and honestly last truthfully one that I really did see in full, which is Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. Let's keep it very much a stack. I've said this multiple times before, but it bears repeating. Tori Meadows is easily my favorite female character in Yu-Gi-Oh! No, she does not duel. I said that one time when she got mind controlled, but no, she does not duel. She isn't necessarily, you know, the greatest character by Yu-Gi-Oh! Standards, and having like a actual deck to use and all that stuff. But she's excellent at emotional support. She is good with moral support and all that sort of stuff, right? If we talk about purely from a perspective like that, Tori's best. She's the best. I don't want to hear it. I love her design. I love her character. I like a lot of what she is. There is nothing negative to really be said in a terms of like, what do I like about her in any shape or form, because there is just nothing negative there. She doesn't really do much, which I guess you could say is again a negative, but for me, I'm perfectly fine with that. She's still bad as hell to this damn day, and it's always been a battle between her and Akiza when it comes down to it. I'm being so dead ass. Like, if you've seen any of the Gentai pictures and the Gentai dojos that exist with Tori, you would know she gets some 5-star top class ass work when it comes down to any artwork that she's in. Like, again, if you talking about you don't want to put your whole meat inside of Tori, what are we doing? You don't want to plow that meadows? I am plowing that meadows 5 times over until there ain't no more meadows to be had but a barren wasteland. We do have Rio Castle, which would be like a secondary pick out of the entire show, because I like Rio a lot. Her design does it a lot for me. Her design slaps so damn hard, and I hate for most of the damn show, she's basically Sakura getting knocked out all the damn time. Like half or even majority of the show, we don't really have her outside of like the moments where she's needed. And that's kind of what it is. Like, she doesn't really duel. I think she only had like 1, maybe 2 duels in the entire time, which is buns that was the case. For a character design that looks this damn good, I'm sorry. Rio should have had more. She was very much a character that was worth the time, and then no one gave her the time, and I'm pissed about that, by the way, when it comes down to it. It doesn't make any sort of sense. Let's not forget about Anna, who honestly, Anna's about the 3rd favorite in this entire show as well, because big titty lady, like hell, they gave her jiggle physics in 1 episode, so you know, like, what's not to like here? And of all the characters in Zexal, that's like the top 3 that you would possibly have. Like, the top 3 is basically going to be them in all shapes and forms, and that's just how it is. Outside of that, though, you probably could put Dextra in there, which I kind of forgot she existed outside of design, because what does she even do half the damn time? Like, she was a hunter, like, she dueled, but she's mainly here for kites, and that's just kind of how it is. Which, also, Kite, what the hell are you doing? You have a fine-ass, tall-ass woman that's ready for your whole meat that would do anything for you, but essentially you just basically play the role of CL Phantom High and Sebastian Michaelis. It's like when you have Mei Ren right there, right for you to use, that is very much going to be happy to be used in any shape or form, but you act all serious and don't really use her? Are you dumb? Like, what is happening here? So yes, I'm not very much effing with that sort of camp. Like, Dextra is getting used the same way Mei Ren is also getting clapped up. At least Ran Mao is probably gonna get her cheeks ran by Lao having ass, which granted, Lao don't deserve that pair of cheeks. I should be in those cheeks for sure. But when it comes down to it though, it's just kind of crazy again. Like, again, fine piece of ass. You don't use it. The hell is wrong with you? And we gotta go into Arc 5. I don't know shit about Arc 5 outside the fact that there was like multiple versions of the main and female character, and apparently the ending of the manga was terrible because Yuzu was a hoe, apparently, and a hoe for her boyfriend's future dad shit self, or past dad self, whatever the hell happened. She basically got a train ran on her, which spawned her friend in the future, I guess, which is very strange. Why did they do that? I got no clue. And apparently, I think in the anime she got deleted or something like that, so she got hoed a lot. apparently. But from what I heard though, she seemed really damn good. Like she could do a lot in dueling wise. And granted, design wise, she don't look that bad. In fact, the reason why I even cared about Arc 5 was because of some of the content that existed for her. Like the same sort of vibe Tori had was basically what they gave to Yuzu as well. Like Yuzu was about bad as shit, and I was absolutely here for it, right? Like I'm pretty sure again, everybody's giving her a pounding, much less any alternate version of her throughout the other different dueling dimensions. That yeah, we're also giving those versions of her a pounding when it comes down to it. Do I know their names? Absolutely not. I am more familiar with the fusion one, but when it comes down to it though, that is literally how it is. The only other character I can really sit here and think of, really the only two, is the damn mom of the main character, Yuga's mom I want to say, which don't know her name, but she can take 5 different types of poundings, and I feel like that's something that we need more of. The fact that she has basically no sort of art on her whatsoever is kind of crazy outside of the ones I am familiar with Sora kind of cracking her mom or some shit like that, and really he was cracking Yuzu as well in some of those artworks, which kind of made me mad because this man was just a piece of shit. I ain't gonna sit here and cap. And the only one I could think of from that show also is Ali, or IU, depending on which version you watch, and she needs more art. She needs more art. I feel disgusted that we don't actually have more art on her when it comes down to it. Like, she needs to be in the same category as people feel about Nanako. She needs to be in the same category of lolly characters that we all want to bang, that basically anybody would feel when it comes down to it, right? We need more work when it comes down to her. And the fact that she has literally not really much outside of maybe a few good pieces is terrible. So when it comes down to it though, I need more of Ali just straight up getting her cheeks ran. And the last show that obviously that we're going to talk about, and with no detail because I have no clue what the hell is going on in the show, is Vrains. And that is to do with Sky or Aoi, which is her Japanese name, or a Blue Maiden from what I heard, or something like that. I don't know what she does. I don't know. The only reason why I'm putting her in this is because of her design with the whole blue idol looking look, right? That's what I do know. She was like an idol or something like that, and like this is her other original normal self in form. Like, okay, I guess, but literally I've seen like a few art pieces of her, and I'm not gonna lie, she about bad as shit. From what I heard, she's terrible. She gets treated the worst out of the damn Yu-Gi-Oh girls when it comes down to it, which is a damn shame. So ultimately, you have a fine piece of design of artwork, fine piece of blue ass, but you don't use it that much. You basically screwed it over. I don't understand Yu-Gi-Oh writing when it comes to female characters. I really don't. There ain't no damn way that anybody with a brain would treat these characters this way, but the Yu-Gi-Oh people that, you know, write these characters, I guess they just don't care for female characters, I suppose. That's just genuinely what it seems like to me, which is a damn shame because again, this design goes a lot hard. But yeah, essentially Tori just still at the top for me. Akiza's just like a close first tie up right there with her. There's just no way around that. These two are easily the most baddest bitches in the entirety of Yu-Gi-Oh as a whole, and that's just genuinely where I just stand on with that hill. But ultimately, I'm gonna leave it just there. So hopefully you did enjoy with this one. So if you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on my outs, also on my socials, and if you'd like to donate to the channel, Kofi Cash App is available as well. And until this, boy Jay, sign off. Have a blessed day.